everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do another monthly roundup of new makeup that's come out recently or just throughout the month, I guess. As usual, all the pictures that I'm going to be using are from Trend Mood, so I'll leave the link down below to everything that I'm going to discuss with you today. So we'll just head straight on into it. So I've got everything on my iPad, so if I am looking off in a different direction, it's not because I think you're ugly, it's because everything's on here, so I'm reading off of this. Like usual in majority of my monthly wrap-ups, it seems to consist of collaborations, and so that's what all of these are again. So be prepared. First one I'm going to discuss is the Colourpop and Naruto collaboration, and from somebody who has not watched Naruto, it seems to really get the aesthetic of it. It's very exciting. As I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's exactly spot on, but from like images I've seen of the show and pictures and just videos, it seems to get the colours. They got the colours from the people and like smacked it in the palette. That looks really, really nice. But before I go on, I'm going to tell you all of the products in this collaboration, and I'm going to tell you all the prices. So firstly, we've got the Naruto eyeshadow palette, and it is $24 and it is 15 shades, and you get matte, metallic, matte sparkle and pearlescent glitter. And then you've also got Super Shock shadows, which is an iconic product you always get with Colourpop, and they are $9 each. Then we have the cream liners, and they are $9 each. By the way, for the Super Shock shadows and for the liners, there's both 3 different shades, so one for each of the main character. And then we've got a lip oil for $11, and then we've got this body gel thing for $12. The prices aren't too horrific, like they're not making me want to scream my head off. The eyeshadow palette is quite a decent price, $24 for 15 shades. They look quite decently sized as well, like the pans in the palette. Lip oil and the Super Shock shadows are slightly a bit on the upper side for me. Obviously I haven't tried the product, so they may be worth that extra little bit of cash. With the eyeshadow palette as well, just with all of the packaging, it looks really, really nice. And it's kind of a dulled word for it, but it's very, very lovely packaging. The way that the colours are grouped together, especially in the eyeshadow palette, you can just, by looking at it, you can create so many looks. Like in my head, seeing this picture in front of me, I can see what I want to do with it, even though I'm not going to get it, but I can see what I want to do with it. The only thing I'd say about the palette is that there are a few shades that do look quite similar. So you've got the top 2 left hand shades that are like shimmers. They seem, even though they seem different in the pan, I feel like they'd come out the same as a swatch, and I haven't seen any swatches, so I may be wrong, but at the moment I feel like they would be the same. And also the same for the bottom right, because you've got like a deep brown shade and also a burgundy shade. Yeah, I just feel like they would swatch the same. The other thing I would say about this as well is about the gel. So I'm not a huge fan of those big chunky glitter gel things, you know, like when people would put in their hair for festivals or just on their cheeks. I'm not a huge fan of that, so this wouldn't appeal to me exactly. So it may appeal to other people, but for me that's a no. But overall, I think this is a lovely collaboration. Everything looks good, the shades look good. Yeah, I don't think they went wrong with this at all. The next collaboration that we have is one by Morphe, and I'm gonna probably butcher her name, but I've never said her name out loud. But it's Meredith Duxbury, I think it is. You know, the foundation lady from TikTok. She's collaborated with Morphe and has come out with a collection. It's quite a few variety of things, which I quite like, but you've got a big £35 eyeshadow palette for $34, and then you've got a multi-effects palette, so I assume it could be like face. You've got that for $18. You've got a foaming face primer, which intrigues me. I've not seen a foaming primer before, and that's $17. You've got a lip liner and glaze duo, which I assume is just a lip gloss, for $16. And then you've also got a brow wax and brush duo for $13. And you've also got an eye, face and lip gloss for $12. The only price I would understand is the £35 eyeshadow palette, because you get 35 shades and the cost is only $34. From the packaging, I quite like the outline of the shades. It just makes it seem more cohesive, and it kind of focuses my attention on certain groups of shades, which I suppose is what it's supposed to do. I'm not gonna lie, the colour selection does remind me of the James Charles palette. So they've introduced a few new shades, so like the bluish purple and lime green, but it's very similar to me for that. So if you already have that, then I don't think you'd need this unless you really want that lime shade. I like the colours, and I really do like the packaging of this collection. It is so sleek and it's so simple but mature in the same way. But yeah, I quite like the multi-effects palette, although I'm curious to see how the shimmers would go, because it's not really clear on what it is, so I'm quite curious on that. As I said before, the foaming face primer is quite intriguing. I suppose it'd be like a foaming face wash, except from you don't wipe it off. That's all I can think of. I say the brow wax and the brush, I'm on the fence about for the $13, and just for the whole thing in general, just because I can understand in terms of, because the brush is half spoolie, half a spatula, so I understand how that could up the price, but I feel like the sculpting wax is quite tiny. I don't know if that's just because it's next to the eyeshadow palette, but it seems just very, very small, so I feel like you'll be able to get a couple uses out of it, and that'll be about it. And then the gloss is just a standard gloss, and for $12 it is quite a bit. I'd probably skip on that. You can get nice decent glosses for like £3. They just work the same. And then with the lip liner and glaze duo, it's just standard lip liner and lip gloss really, so nothing too special or standard about that. Overall, this is quite a nice collection. A few hits and misses. I do like the eyeshadow palette, but personally I won't be picking it up. But yeah, let's move on to the next collection. When I first saw this collection, my heart was screaming, just because it is so cute, and it's the Elf Cosmetics and Loser Fruit collection. And I don't know what Loser Fruit is, I've never seen it before, but the only thing I can gather from it is strawberries. So that's the only thing I can tell you about what Loser Fruit is. I mean, I could search it up, but I'm lazy. It doesn't tell you much, but it's cute. So in this collection, you've got a face palette for the eyes and face, it says. You've got a strawberry sugar lip mask, and you've also got a strawberry makeup sponge. And that sponge, if I see that sponge, I'm definitely picking it up. And I might have to pick up two, just because I want one to display and then one to use on my face. But it's so cute, it's so adorable. The lip mask, it's not like a exfoliant one or whatever. It reminds me of the one from TikTok, the one, what's it called? It's like Lange something, I don't know, but it's kind of like a dupe of that product. It looks to come with a spatula, although I'm not sure if that's just for the picture, but if it is, then it is very cute. It reminds me of one of those little ones you get with ice cream. Quite cute. I'd say the only letdown with this collection is the eyes and face palette, just because, right, when you picture berries, like think of a cherry, think of strawberries. Do you think pastel goes Casper, or do you think deep, like luscious colours? Because that's the difference we're getting at the moment. Even for a pale person like me, I feel like the only colour that would look nice is the first blush, I suppose strawberry-esque shade. That's not exactly what you want in a product. It'll be even more disappointing if this is the only palette they have for the face palette. It don't seem to be anymore, which is extremely disheartening. Yeah, you just don't get the rich colours of the berries, and especially if you have a darker skin tone, this would just not go well. And I don't know, it's a bit disappointing, but I feel like that's the only downside to this collection. But apart from that, everything else I'm in love with, and it's just so cute. So on to the last collection. I saved this till last just because it is quite controversial and there is a bit of a hurrah about it at the moment, and it is the Disney 100 collection with Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna tell you the prices and the product, and I'm not gonna say anything until afterwards. So it comes with a magic cream for $100. You've got a beauty light wand blush, and they are $42 each, or you can get a trio for $126. And you've got a makeup bag for $48. It seems like there are collector pins, Tinkerbell ones, that you can get. This whole collection is, even though it's Disney, it just seems to be Tinkerbell themed. So yeah, look how tiny that cream is, and that's selling for $100. Not a lot of people are loving this collection. It's very, very disappointing, especially from Charlotte Tilbury, because they have such lovely packaging, and I haven't tried any products myself, but they seem to be really raved about, especially on social media. It is quite disappointing, really. I'd say the thing that I quite like is the makeup bag. It is velvet and it has that Diamante-esque, I believe. I don't know if it's just printed, but that takes me back to my childhood when you'd have like those fuzzy jogging bottoms with like those Diamantes pressed on. That's what it reminds me of. It's quite a nice deep red shade, which is very pretty, but it is $48, and I would rather pay £5 for a fluffy bag I can get from Primark, so not the greatest. Yeah, it's just the only new thing to me. I don't know if they had the cream before, but the only new thing I could see is the makeup bag. But apart from that, it's just repackaged designs. But even on top of that, all they've done is stuck Tinkerbell on top of it, and they've called that a Disney collection. And especially for 100 years of Disney, it's lacking. It's just really nothing. I don't know, it's not exactly a dream come true. So that is all the collections from today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's anything you agreed with, anything you disagreed with, anything you just want to discuss. I'd love to have a chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
It's RSM.